So thank you to each one who has chosen to come out to play with us today. We know you have lots and lots of choices in this virtual world, and we're delighted you chose to be with us. Today we consider winter solstice, which officially occurs tomorrow morning way early at 3:02 a.m. It's an astrological thing that happens in our world here in the Sun Belt, but doesn't have a huge daily impact on our life. I suspect it matters much more to people who live in full or near darkness in the winter months. Inside the Arctic Circle, the sun set around the autumnal equinox. They had approximately a month of twilight, and it's been completely dark since mid-October. They live in full darkness until sometime in mid-February, when they again see the first glimmers of what we would call pre-dawn light. And the sun comes up just over the horizon for them around spring equinox. To us, it's mostly just an interesting artifact, a way of marking time. And there are all of those old stories about people being fearful for their lives and lighting bonfires or Yule logs to coerce the sun into returning so the people could live. It's easy to make fun of their lack of understanding about the way our planet moves in relation to the sun. There are times that I wonder what beliefs that we hold as true that will be seen as quaint and archaic 1,000 years from now, or maybe even 200 years from now, or maybe 50, who knows, right? So today's reminder, lighting the way, has more to do with increasing our own awareness of the light that lives in each one of us already. That light that burns within us, that motivating force. We have to become aware of the light. Well, I'm not sure this is true. I think this is true. We have to become aware of the light that resides in us before we can really shine it. And maybe some people don't have to, but I think it's probably more useful to have that awareness of intentionality so that we can really shine our core essence. Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind on page 443, paragraph 4, wrote, "If anyone would know God, they must penetrate deeply into their own nature, for here alone can they find that divine nature. The only way to know God is to be like it. While this may seem discouraging in our present state of evolution, we should remember we have just started on the eternal ladder which ever spirals upward." So, what does it mean to be like God? This is a question of the ages, isn't it? Those people with their bonfires lived in fear of the gods of their understanding. They thought their gods had to be appeased or teased or encouraged by their sacrifices so the people wouldn't be deserted and left in the dark. Many of us were raised with stories of a demanding or judgmental deity who kept track of our faults and punished us, either here or in the hereafter, for those faults. Many of us walked away from that belief system because it didn't work for us. In the daily reading from the Science of Mind from this past Friday, Holmes addressed the question. From the bottom of page 502, he wrote, "God's love is complete in us, in that we are its sons and daughters, born of freedom and not of bondage." In her blog post from last week's newsletter, which is now up on our website, Maria wrote, "Everything is made of the same cosmic stuff. And from that cosmic stuff, things may be similar, but in reality, nothing is the same. No two people, snowflakes, trees, flowers are alike. Everything is unique. Everything is a unique expression of the divine mind. This Christmas season, I am grateful for the reminder that I too am a unique expression of God and have the potential to live a life of light and love, peace and harmony, joy and delight. What an incredible gift to get and share through a life of embracing and radiating the Christ consciousness. She closed her blog post with a quote from Rumi. Once we were particles of light. Now we are beings of light, radiating love. This is true. Whether we know it or believe it or think it or imagine it, this is true. Once we were particles of light. Now we are beings of light, radiating love. Holmes continues on the top of 503. The birth of the soul into the light of spirit is an awakening to the realization that God has been with us, in us, and as us all the time. We're just not aware of it. And he cuts to the chase at the bottom of 503. Without love, nothing can be accomplished. With love, all things are possible. When we love, our prayers are answered, and the gift of heaven is made. The gift of heaven is life, not death, love, not hate, peace, not confusion. We enter into this paradise through the gateway of love towards one another and towards God. Love is greater than all else and covers a multitude of mistakes. Love overcomes everything and neutralizes all that is unlike itself. Love is God. So how do we be like God? Which is to say, how do we emanate? How do we express? How do we show up as our true nature, our whole and holy selves? We practice being love. We practice being light, peace, joy, harmony, freedom, liberation, and all those other luscious God qualities. And we practice them to the best of our ability. And we know, because we're human, some days will be better than others. And when we screw up, we forgive ourselves and we forgive others. We fail, they fail. We forgive ourselves, we forgive them. And we all keep practicing. So in Living the Science of Mind, Dr. Holmes asked a fascinating question on page 270. Did you ever stop to think that you are a spiritual and mental broadcasting station, and that messages are going out from you in all directions, perhaps even when you're asleep? Messages which have an influence on your environment and on the people around you. Since everything moves in circles, the messages you broadcast will come back to you. Part of what makes this idea of being a broadcasting station so interesting to me is that what we broadcast can't be contingent on what sort of reaction we're going to get from anybody who might be on the receiving end. Broadcasting is broadcasting. It's not iterative, it's not interactive. This one awareness changes the game for me that's typically played, especially during the holiday season. So I have a question for you. What are you broadcasting? Do you adjust your programming because we're in the holiday season? I'm going to open the breakout rooms in just a minute and give you a few minutes to discuss this idea with the people that the Sugar Plum Zoom Fairy decided to pair you up with. After the Zoom rooms close and you return to this gathering, I'll close. And remember, today at the conclusion of the service, we get to hear from Monica Durand from Old Pueblo Community Services. She was our representative from OPCS last year. So don't run away unless you really don't want to be social. I'm going to open 9 Zoom rooms, if I can count right. That means you should be in with, maybe I'll open 10 Zoom rooms. You should be in with 3 or 4 other people. I'll give you 10 minutes to visit and chat and talk about ways you are sharing your light this year, in this most peculiar year. So think about that question while I get everything queued up. And when the option opens, when the invitation opens to join your room, please do. And if you don't want to, you can hang out with me. That'd be fine too. But anyway, I will do the business now and see you in a couple minutes. Rooms, breakout rooms, go. No, wrong way. I just love technology. Go. So I'm gonna close with the lyrics from India Ari's song, I Am Light, that David sang last week when Cynthia James spoke. And if you didn't get to hear her last week because you had some other place to be, you might want to make time to listen to her talk on our YouTube channel. There's also a link on our website and our Facebook page. But the song, I Am Light, it's just so fabulous. I'm not going to do all the repetitive bits. I'm just going to speak it straight out, and I'm not singing. I am light. I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am not the mistakes I have made or any of the things that have caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I'm not the skin on the outside. I'm not my age. I'm not my race. My soul inside is all light. I am light. I am divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. So remember that you are light. No matter what, no matter what the momentary experience is, remember that you are light and live that and bless yourself and bless us all. Thank you. So I'm going to roll right into the prayer. Remembering that divinity that lives in and as each individual here, that light, that core essence, that whole holiness that resides, whether we've put it under a bushel or not, it's still there. So I see that light, I claim that light, I see and recognize and encourage that light to blossom, that sharing of that one love, that one freedom, that one joy, that one peace, that one harmony that lives in each one. And I celebrate that when it appears. I know that each has the opportunity and the possibility to be and express more of this infinite presence all the time. So I celebrate that. I bless each one. I know only good and very good as the natural outcome of this entire life experience. And I celebrate this opportunity to practice. Resting in great joy, I relax, allow, and let it be. And so it is.